Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and a fantastic cultural change that I think is going to really help Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition in the years to come and for the rest of its edition. So let's talk about it. So the New York Times just announced this week an absolutely fascinating fact about all of humanity. Listen to this, and this is going to be incredibly helpful to Dungeons & Dragons as a product. So between 1920 and 2020, the lifespan of a human increased from 40 to 80. It doubled. The lifespan of a human being between 1920 and 2020 doubled to 80 years, from 40 years to 80 years. That is absolutely amazing, and it really is going to help Dungeons & Dragons. Now, how is that going to help Dungeons & Dragons? Well, I started playing when I was 12, and I'm playing now when I'm 51, so that is 39 years I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons. That's pretty incredible, right? When I was young, I bought a few books. I bought a good number of, I bought, 2 or 3 box sets, and I scrabbled together enough money to own the PHP, the DMG, and the MM. And then I bought maybe a few source books, and my friends bought source books. We had a few books, right? Well, now I own the PHP, the MM, and the DMG, and every single edition. I own 8 of the 12 Orange Spine Easleys. I own probably 4 to 6 of all the 5th edition source books. And I expect before 2022 is out, I will probably own every single Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition hardback that exists, bar none, right? And the reason why is, now in my 50s, I don't have the time to play all the games, but I sure as heck have the ability to buy them. And that's an arc. When you're young, you get, so right now, the prototypical player, you're probably going to start at 12 when they can start, literally when the game says they can start, right? They're going to start, maybe reading and maybe even DMing by the time they're 12 years old, right? And can you imagine if a player starts today playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, they're going to have exactly the same experience I had. They're going to be able to buy box sets, they're going to be able to buy hardback books, and then they're going to be able to continue to buy for 68 years. 68 years, right? And bring all that earning power to the game, right? And so basically, young players bring play and enthusiasm and time. Old players bring money, and they go back and they make all of those old books more and more valuable, right? I'm right now spending between $30 and $80 a piece for the Orange Spine Easleys, right? And I'm just collecting book by book by book. I'm getting box set by box set by box set, and I play what I can, but I buy a lot more than I play, right? And so the idea that that an average human now has an additional 40 years to collect Dungeons & Dragons books than they would have done, and actually, of course, Dungeons & Dragons was born in 1970. That's only 54 years after that sweep started, and that means there was 46 years where life extension continued, right? Now, how did human life extend from 40 to 80? Well, it was science and activism. Science with things as simple as, it's a very small thing, but penicillin. It's a big deal. Like, it solved a ton of problems, right? And then also science being able to feeding the people on the human earth is a trivial task now. And it's just going to be more and more trivial going forward. It truly is. And the reason why, our problems now are not feeding the people on earth. It's getting avocado toast for people, right? Like there is no one on the planet Earth who is denied food because there isn't food for them. All the problems of starvation in the world are purely political at this point, and purely arbitrary, right? There's more than enough food on the planet Earth for everyone. The only problem we have is distributing it to a few nations, right? But generally, starvation is increasingly each year. Starvation is not a problem, and in America, there's absolutely no starvation. It's not like you have to choose to starve in America. Like, in fact, we have the opposite problems. People's weights go up too high, right? Like, so we have 100% solved the problem of starvation in America. It just doesn't exist. It's not even possible to starve in America. I've never heard of a single person in my life starving anywhere within my entire state, right? I'm not sure it even happens in America. So these are, and that's no small thing. Activism. So what kind of activism created an extended 40 extra years of life? Well, you have the 8-hour workday, and you have the 5-day work week, right? Which people are trying to make into a 4-day work week now. And so, it's a huge thing. And and even working conditions, like people are like, hey, don't send minors down, into a dirty mine with no mask, right? Or, whatever they said, like a million different, workplace safety things, right? So all these things are making people live much, much longer. And the reality is in 1982, I became a 12-year-old player. And now in 2021, I'm just buying like crazy, right? There are players starting right now in 2021 as 12-year-old players. They have 68 years to buy that can do nothing but help the game. And I think this extended life is really going to help Dungeons and Dragons, no question, right? And that's another thing, is since the game is not physical, you can play for decades beyond when you're even physically capable, right? I expect to see Dungeons and Dragons in a lot of old folks' homes. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.